Today I'm going to talk about that most important of ingredients, and that's club path. One ingredient that you will have worked on more than any other. I'm going to be giving you drills, tips and tricks to fix that club path forever. In this driver series, I'm going to make you the best driver you can be. And today it's all about club path. Undoubtedly, you will have tried a myriad of ideas. Back to target, pump your arms down, tuck the elbow, keep the shoulder back, keep your hips back, don't move your body, keep your arms down, all of that utter nonsense. I'm going to give you 3 absolute definitives that will control your club path forever. It will be in your back pocket like your scorecard. So today, how do we fix the club path? Well, let's understand the circle of the golf swing and what the golf ball position does for you. Now, in episode 1 of this driver series, I talked about the angle of attack and its impact on your golf swing. Today, the club path. Now, just like the angle of attack, when it hits up and when it hits down, it also impacts the path line. So the further forwards I place that golf ball in my swing, you can see the circle will make the golf ball be struck with a path that's pointing to the left, the second box on the left-hand side. Now, the more I then place the golf ball back in my stance, it will now make the path of the golf club approach more from the inside. Now, you can see both of those path lines, one was to the left 6 degrees, one was to the right 3 degrees. If club path was the answer to your golf swing, those shots, well, the one that went outside in would have been the worst shot out of the 2 in your understanding. Everyone believes that we've got to have a club path from the inside. That club path was from the inside at 3 degrees and the ball finished to the right. So tip number 1, if you want your club path to be from the inside, you better make sure that your face to path value, the box on the right hand side that shows you how the ball is going to bend in the sky. If it's a negative value, it will bend left. If it's a positive value, it will bend right. If you want a club path from the inside, you better make sure that when you come to hit that golf ball, that path from the inside is met with a face to path value that's negative. So path line can only work in tandem with a really good face to path value. Now, in episode 3 of this driver series, I'm going to be talking about that face to path and how you fix it. But today, it's all about controlling your club path. By the end of this 4-part driver series, I absolutely guarantee you, you will be the best driver of the golf ball you can be. I guarantee it. So stay tuned for parts 3 and 4 and make sure you go check out part 1. So now we understand that where the ball is placed in our stance, it controls the club path. The more the ball is further forwards in our stance, you can see that club path is going to be more to the left. And the more back in the stance the golf ball is, the more the path will be to the right from the inside. Now with driver, of course, we want the ball to be flighted. So if the ball gets too far back in the stance, the golf ball also compromises flight. It hits the ball too low because the further the ball is back, you can see the angle of attack becomes more down. Once again, I discussed that in episode 1 of this driver series. The more I move the ball further forwards, all of a sudden, yes, I hit up, but now all of a sudden my path line goes to the left. So we are mixing angle of attack and club path together. Therefore, however much you want to hit up on the golf ball, it will dictate the path that you see. So the path line will become more left, negative, the more we hit up. The path line will become more positive to the right, the more we hit down. So let's just say for the time being that your angle of attack is 0. How do we make this club path more from the inside. Tip number 2 is making you aware of the outside of the circle. Now we've got 2 points in the circle, in the golf swing, that really matter to us. When I set up to the golf ball, I've got point 1, and that is the base of my spine. Where the base of my spine sits during the golf swing. Now the more the base of my spine sits back here, the more the club will sit underneath me, and the more my club will arc in to in. The more I tend to get onto the toes of my feet and I stand up out of my posture, the more the club path will tend to want to swing out and over here, outside the ball line. Now, the more the club swings outside the ball line, because I get on the toes of my feet, I then get the path line swinging to the left. And if I've got a face that's open to the path, it means the ball will bend back to the target. So point number 1 is the base of the spine. The base of the spine controls what the forearms are doing, what the shoulders are doing. So the more I place the spine, the base of the spine, back of the golf ball, the more my path line will arrive from the inside. You can see that path line arrived at 7 degrees from the inside. The more I'm on the toes of my feet at that point, the more my club path will arrive. There's the weight into the heels of the feet where I struck at 7 degrees. The more I'm on the toes of my feet at that point, the more the club will swing outside in. So the pressures through the feet are huge when we're putting the golf club on the way down. If I'm feeling more pressures in the heels of my feet, the more chance I have of getting that club arcing in to in. The more the pressure is on the toes of my feet, the more chance I've got of getting my path outside in and inside out. So if we're controlling the base of the spine to control the path, therefore, if I had a box on the outside of this golf ball, my path line would be in to in and I would never hit the box. The more chance of hitting the box would come from being so much on the toes of the feet. Remember, more on the heels of the feet will control the base of the spine, and the other point of control is the outside of the circle, which is what the box is allowing me to do. So that it allows me to arc that club in and in there. So the box on the outside gives me a sensation of controlling how that club will arc in and in. The point of control of the base of my spine will also give me the sense that the club will strike from the in and in. So tip number 2 is controlling the base of the spine and the outside of the circle to make that path enter the golf ball from the inside. Tip number 3 that beats all other tips for curing your club path, and that is how you hold the golf club. Without doubt, it will beat any piece of advice that you're ever given outside of the grip, and that's to cure your club path. So when we place the lead hand on the golf club, the kink that you see down through my lead hand here, this kink here is the pressure point that puts force on the grip. And when you put that force on the grip, the fingers must point towards the target of the lead hand. I grip the golf club, now you can see this kink in here. This will control the face to path value. If your face to path value is negative and your club path is outside in, you won't be outside in club path left for very long. Because as soon as you consistently get a face to path that's negative, your club path will, without doubt, begin to arc and enter more from the inside. Because the more it enters from the inside with a good face to path value, all of a sudden you'll be creating a path line that works nicely with a face to path value. So the path arcs more from the inside with a negative face to path, which comes from a palm down, fingernails to the target golf grip at the start. There is a myriad of ingredients that go together in this driver swing that makes golfers either hit the fairway a lot or miss the golf course. In this 4-part series, I'm going to be talking about all of the ingredients that will make you the best driver of the golf ball. In part 1, I talked about the angle of attack. In part 2, today, I've talked about the club path and what's going to give you the very best possible chance. So, in summary, in part 1, we talked about the angle of attack, making sure that that angle of attack is dictated by the golf ball position. Make sure it's forwards. In part 2, we've talked about getting the path line more from the inside by making sure that the pressure sits more into the heels of the feet and making sure that we're aware of the outside of the circle. And if you can do that with a good grip where you can see the kink in my lead hand, before you know it, you'll be making those driver shots, find the fairway from an inside path, hitting up and drawing it down the fairway. In part 3, I'm going to be talking about the face to path value. How are you going to take control of the bend of the golf ball in the sky? And then in part 4, I'm going to talk about impact, how you get the strike consistent in your golf swing when it comes to the driver. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of this driver series. Go check out part 1 up in the top right hand corner of the screen there, and I look forward to sharing part 3 and 4 coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. Do consider Are you tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves? Head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves tried and trusted by elite amateurs and tour players alike. Enter my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed. Subscribing if you haven't done so already. And that, my friends, is good coaching.